Welcome to Assemble, I'm Matt. We're going to talk a couple of different topics today on the show. I got your news roundup for you. WWE 2K22's quarterly results, how the game has performed so far, 2K23 is in the works, and a superstar we've all been clamoring for, well, we have some updates on whether they can make it into the game this year. Let's have some fun, let's go. Let's kick things off with the talk and the conversation around the potential superstar we wanted to have in the game for 2K22 and whether or not they were going to be able to make it. We are, of course, talking about Cody Rhodes. Adrenaline in my soul. According to SGO, WWE wanted 2K22 to add Cody Rhodes to the game after he returned to the company back in April. Though he didn't return to the company until a month after the game's launch, WWE knew of the plans to bring him back in February. Unfortunately, though, that was far too short of notice for the developers at 2K to do anything to get him in the game. Quote, WWE tried, but it was quickly shot down, a person close to the development team said. They knew it was unlikely, but you don't know for sure unless you ask. So according to this, it doesn't sound like we are going to be able to get Cody Rhodes in 2K22, unfortunately. Does it rule it out completely? No, I like to stay a little optimistic about these things. What they could do to satisfy fans if they really wanted to, and I personally don't think they will do this, you let me know if they would, but they could add in Cody's Tron as well as his entrance music. The only issue that they highlight in the SGO article, and I agree with, is you have the ring announcer name. Since Greg Hamilton, the ring announcer, is no longer with the company, can't really get that voiceover work in there. But I'm pretty sure the mod community could figure something out, couldn't they? Now, I did mention Cody for 2K23. That's another piece of the conversation here, which is 2K23 is in development, it is in the works. 2K had their earnings call, which they wrapped up the results, and we'll get into all of that, regarding 2K22's performance. They do have it slated in the reports that WWE 2K23 will be coming out in the fiscal year of 2023. The dates are to be determined, but this is probably going to line up in that we're going to get 2K23 right around the same time that we got 22, and that being the WrestleMania season. We typically get the games out in October. Technically, they could release 2K23 this coming October, November, but that is aggressive, and I don't see 2K really pushing the envelope to be overly aggressive with the next game's launch. If you told me the game is coming out in October, November, I really would doubt it. I really wouldn't believe you here. We finish up the DLC at the tail end of the summer. I mean, if you turn around and you said, here's your live service 2K23 game, that's going to be a big update to it, I would take it. But I think that they will totally wait until likely the game's launch in March of 2023. And the reason I say that is because they seem, according to 2K and their earnings results, they did have a lot of success when it comes to 2K22. In terms of units in the US, and this is coming from Take-Two's earnings report, in terms of units in the US, WWE 2K22 had the best month one of any title in WWE 2K franchise history. It outperformed, and we've heard reports on this before, that it outperformed 2K20, which is not very surprising, but they also outperformed 2K19. And according to their statistics, their reports, it has outperformed all the other games. Now, this could be due to the drought in the wrestling games. We waited almost 2 years for another wrestling game. And so it could be that fans were really clamoring for a new game, and that's why they have a huge spike in the sales results. Or it could just be that people are excited, they enjoy it, and they're having a great time with it. What do you think? Another quick note here is just with Supercard. I know that it is the mobile game, but it's interesting because it kind of ties into me for MyFactions. WWE Supercard is 2K's highest grossing mobile game with more than 26 million downloads. I bring this up because MyFactions is their card game for console, and MyFactions is interesting, isn't it? Fans aren't totally nuts on it. We cover the recent news about Nash Carter being removed from the upcoming DLC, and in its place we're getting 2 MyFaction cards. 2K really likes this, but from a business perspective, you can see why 2K pushes hard on the mobile games and the card playing games, because they can see the success and the direct success that they have from the mobile side of things, and they want to bring that over to console. What'll be interesting is with 2K23, if they do keep in MyFactions, if it gets improved, if they just want to keep going with it, we'll have to wait and see, because we don't have any hard numbers on how MyFactions perform from a financial standpoint, and if they're getting a big return on that of people using real dollars to buy these cards, or if they're even playing the mode at all. Based on your feedback and what you guys have said in the comments, even in our last episode, the vast majority of you, and thank you by the way for supporting the show, but the vast majority of you said, I do not play MyFactions, I don't touch it, or I do it casually, but I really don't invest time in, and that seems to be the consensus, at least here in our community. For 2K, the largest contributors to net bookings are expected to be NBA 2K22, Grand Theft Auto Online, Grand Theft Auto 5, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Red Dead Online, Quarry, and WWE 2K22 as being their top contributors for their net revenue. And staying on the conversation of 2K23, I really want to know what they will or what they expect to develop and improve upon with the next installment. We haven't really heard, other than some reports online, that they are moving forward with more contracted deals between 2K and WWE. We obviously know 2K23 is coming, but there isn't really any definitive answer to say we are going to get 24, 25, another 5-year deal out of this thing. It seems likely if 2K is showing us that this is the top performing game that they have done on consoles in such a long time. It's good news for WWE, but there is a ton of work that needs to be done here. I said this before, but I believe that 2K22 for me is very much a starting point for a refresh platform for the wrestling games for WWE, because there's goods in there. There's problems in there, but there's some good stuff in here. And the fact that 2K tries to do things like with MyGM mode, by adding in the tag titles, by trying to do the patches and the updates as we see it now, I think it's moving in the right direction where 2K23 can take what they have learned of what works and what really does not, and try to get it even more correct and more right for fans in the next year's game. I don't think, to be honest, that 2K23 would be a graphical enhancement that it would blow us all away. I think it would be an updated, polished version of 22. They keep the modes in there that they have established here. They give us a new showcase. My Faction, My GM returns, but they give us some updates and changes and tweaks to it. And hopefully it would mean also they would add a few more matches and modes in the game too. And speaking of things being added to the game, MyFactions, we have been talking about this, but in case you're interested, there is a brand new DX pack available in MyFactions mode right now. 2K launched this past week, and it's brand new DX Legacy pack featuring Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, X-Pac, and it's available in MyFactions today. There's a new weekly challenge in there too that you can play through. You can start grinding this thing out to be able to unlock these characters within my faction. And I know that so many of you in the comments right now are gonna say, this is great. It's a shame that I cannot get my DX versions of Triple H from 1998 in regular exhibition, and I agree with you. But what I will say is, do some digging in community creations, because there's some stuff in there that would probably please you if you do a little research and you go on the Twitter as well. Maybe follow Matt on Twitter, twitter.com/assemble_show. Maybe there are some attires from D-Generation X that we could get our hands on from the community. It's a hint. It's just a hint. So everybody, what do you want to see from 2K23? I'll have more news and updates for you on the channel this week. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.